Welcome back to Winning with Isaac. Today, I wanted to talk on the topic of why so many of y'all gotta go to work. I gotta go to work. See, first off, there's nothing wrong with work. I think most people should go to work. I think most people should do some form of good work throughout their life. Now, does that look like going to clock in for a job every day? For some of y'all, I would say for the majority of y'all, it looks just like that. Now, for the people who take it upon themselves to be diligent in their finances, structure their life in a manner where they don't live paycheck to paycheck because they're not slave to a lender. See, the Bible tells us we should work, and I'm totally in agreement with that. But I'm not totally in agreement with the idea that we need to go to work. I gotta go to work. I gotta get out there. I gotta go to work because I gotta pay these bills. See, I think that's a foolish way to live your life. Now, like I said, I think everyone should get up and do some type of work, whether it be volunteering, whether it be working a 9 to 5, whether it be having your own business, whatever it is to you that seems like good, productive work in the world, I think you should go out there and do that. Now, does everyone need to go work a 9 to 5, 365 days a year over 50 to 60 to 70 years? Absolutely not. I'm not in agreement with that. I think the people who are diligent and live a debt-free life can really structure their life in a way where they don't gotta go to work. I gotta go to work. You get what I'm saying? I gotta go to work because I gotta pay these bills. Some people don't structure their life in that manner where they gotta pay these bills. You get what I'm saying? See, a lot of people, they structure their life in a manner where they gotta go to work. I gotta pay these bills. Because they sign up for things like student loans and car loans and credit cards and big old mortgages that they probably shouldn't have signed up for because it's way more than 25% of their monthly take-home pay. So I'm just here to say, like, if you're in that place where you got to go to work because you have to pay these bills, something needs to change, y'all. Something must change. Unless you want to be in that heightened state of anxiety-filled life where you gotta go out and make money. See, some people can go make money for a period of their life and then go live their life. They might stop by mom's house or dad's house a few times, once a week, help them with some things, help them in the yard, help them clean up, go to a family member's house, volunteer down at the local shelter, do some type of philanthropic adventure. Some people could structure their life in a manner where they maybe go work part-time because they don't got to pay these bills. Some people can structure their life in a manner where they only work 6 months a year because they don't have a bunch of bills that are weighing them down. See, I don't know, y'all. I'm not a proponent of living a debt-free. I'm not a proponent of living a life, lathered in debt. I'm just not with it. See, I used to play those games. I used to play the car loan games and the credit card games, and I'm beating up on the banks and the creditors because, I'm getting points and I'm paying off my thing every month, and I'm paying off the stupid credit card every month, and I'm not paying any interest, or sometimes I was paying interest. It was just so all over the place. It just got to a point where I said, come on, Isaac. People that are really wealthy, they're not playing these credit games, man. People that really have freedom and choice and autonomy and the ability to go to their boss or their manager or the company or in different areas of their life and negotiate them areas. Hey, I can only work for you guys 8 months out of the year. I can only work for you guys 9 months out of the year. I want to work a schedule where I work 90 days on and I take 30 days off. And you don't have to pay me over the 30 days. See, there's so many different ways to structure this life where you don't got to pay these bills and I don't got to go to work. But so many people pass up on that, on these different ways of structuring their life, because when you grow up in an environment where everyone's broke and everyone's living paycheck to paycheck and no one knows what's coming in or what's going out financially, and you're just working to pay bills. When you grow up in that and you grow up in a society in that and people in your community all do that, and you're realizing like 75%, like 7 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck because they're way up to here in bills because they signed up for all this debt throughout their entire life. And then you see other people who are, 60, 70, 80 years old, got to go to work because throughout their entire life they signed up for bondage and just slavery, debt, their entire life, where it put them in a position where I can't retire. Some people are having those thoughts right now. Some older people are having them thoughts. People that are getting up there in age, they're having them thoughts. Man, I might not really ever be able to retire. I might have to work. See, this isn't about retirement. I'm not here, Isaac ain't here right now to talk about retirement. What I'm here to talk about is the idea of structuring your life and the way you want to structure your life. See, there's really like a set path that a lot of people are on, and they all quite look alike. You go to work, you pay bills, you sign up for debt, you do it all over again. Now, there's other people out here in the world that are like, man, I do like nice things. I do enjoy a few nice things in my life. I like niceties. I like luxury. But I'm not about to go into debt for them things. I'm not about to sign up for debt for a car. That don't even make sense. You telling me I should go sign up and go into debt for a car? I mean, that don't even make sense. Why would I do that? I'm going to tell you why you would do it. Because I've done it in the past. I myself have done it. I've just voluntarily signed up for slavery and just thought it was cool. Thought it was like, well, everybody else does it. This is what people do. We go into debt for things. And then, I was working this process over the years, working the process of trying to figure out, Isaac, how do you break free from this life of debt? How do you break free from always having to pay payments when you get paid? Like, you make a decent income. I would say for the vast majority of y'all make a decent income that is stable, that could produce a lot of fruit in your life. It could produce a life of choice. It could produce a life of generosity. I mean, outrageous generosity. It could produce a life of negotiation, of negotiating from a place of strength, where you don't have to go to the boss in this meek manner and say, I wonder if I could take off a week. No, you go to the boss in a confident, professional manner, like, hey, I understand you're running the company right now. I understand you're overseeing the production of what we got going on here. But I also understand that I put myself in a great financial position over the past decade. Some of y'all gonna have to work this process for a decade so you can get the choice, so you can get the autonomy, so you can get the ability to negotiate your life from a place of strength. It might take you 5 years to break free from debt, get to a place where you have money saved and you're investing and And then you have excess on top of all the Roth IRAs and 401ks and thrift savings plans and in house accounts and emergency accounts. You got excess to the point where you say, look, I'm thinking about taking some time off. How do you feel about that? I'm not looking to get paid. I know you gave me the 2 weeks off a year paid time off. I know you gave me the 3 months, the three weeks off this year paid, but I'm not looking to really get paid. And I'm really looking to work in a manner where maybe I can continue to be here and over the years, you know, maybe it's just something I do specifically. Not maybe everybody else here can do this. Not everybody else can probably do this. A lot of people live in debt. A lot of people have a lot of financial obligations that they voluntarily signed up for, or others, you know, some difficult challenges that have happened in life that forced them to have to go to work. They gotta go make money. I gotta go pay these bills. And it's understandable, but I'm not in that position. So I would like to present this to you. What if I was to work 10 months out of the year and then take 2 months off? Say that 2 months is one mid-year and one at the end of the year, and just take it off. You don't got to pay me. I'll be back, but I'm going to take 60 days off each year, and I'm just going to go do what I want to do. You get what I'm saying? Me and the family are going to go travel the world, or me and the family are not going anywhere. Like, I'm going to be right here in the city that I work in. I'm just not coming to work. And me and the family are just going to spend time together, do fun things. But it's hard to really develop that mentality if you live in a life of debt, if you live in a place where you got to pay bills. So the actionable step is, look, y'all, move on from the life of debt. Move on from a life of bondage. Move on. Get into a space where when you get paid, there's a very small fraction that has to go out. I don't live in all the big old luxuries of homes and all that, but I got a lot of choice. I don't drive the most fancy car, but I can negotiate my life. I don't have all the material things that I bought on credit and that I'm forced to pay for now every month in minimum payments. But I got a lot of autonomy. I have the ability to structure my life in a manner the way I want to structure it. And I think that's what a lot of y'all would love. I think if a good portion of y'all were able to experience what it feels like to make money every month and have the majority of that money left over after you pay the bills. I'm talking about 70, 80% of your money left over. I done paid the bills. I done went to the ATM, put money in my pocket for the month to pay for food, to pay for my fuel in my car, to pay for miscellaneous stuff, to pay for a few fun activities. And now I got 50, 60, 70% of that paycheck, that income from the month left over. It's right here with me. I didn't have to give it away. I didn't have to give it away to MasterCard. I didn't have to give it away to American Distress. I didn't have to give it away to these entities. I didn't have to give it away to these financial institutions, these financial entities, and I never had to give my money to them. So people look at you like, how does he get to do that? How does she get to go and not work for 2 months? How does she just get to always take a few weeks off and not get paid? Like, how does she get to survive? How is she surviving? She structured her life in a way where she don't have a lot of bills. See, when we go out to the car lot, when we go out to the parking lot, you got the 2025, he got the 2020, she got the 2023, I mean, y'all got the luxury of the luxury out there parked. But them two, they drive like 17-year-old vehicles. They drive 20-year-old vehicles. And they both been driving them for the past 10 years. So think about all the money they're saving. Now people may say, well, you're saving all the money, but what are you going to do with the money? Buy my freedom, buy my autonomy, buy the ability to negotiate areas of my life. Yeah, I don't got the nicest of the nicest. I don't got Rollies, and I ain't got Benzes and Mercedes and BMWs and the newest of the newest and a bunch of stuff I bought on credit and the biggest of the house. Like, no, I live in a real, like, manageable type home that is affordable, really affordable. I'm not talking about affordable. I'm talking about really affordable. And it allows me to structure my life the way I want to structure my life. See, but you never know that this life is out there if you never get anyone to tell you. And Isaac is here to tell you, look, y'all, you start now. You start breaking free from a life of debt. You start breaking free from a life of bondage. You move on from this debt thing. You move on from this thing where you always going into debt for things. I just put it on payments. I just put it on credit. Let me just put it on credit real quick. What's the payment? Well, how much it costs a month? I ask, how much do it cost? Then I go to the ATM and I go get the money. Or I go to the bank and I go to the teller and I get the money real quick. And I go pay cash for it. I'm not worried. And then you get out that cycle. Because debt and credit and loans, dealing with these financial entities that don't have your best interest at heart, that is a cycle. You get in a cycle. It's like a drug, y'all. It's like a drug. It's like any addiction. It's like any type of vice. You got to keep going back to it. You got to get back to that thing. And they force you to come back to it. Because you pay the payment, got to pay the payment again. Got to pay the payment again. But you never fix that internal desire of always wanting to put shit on credit. You never fixed that. You didn't fix that internal desire of, man, I just put stuff on credit all the time. If I want it, I'll get it now. See, there's the people that get choice, the people that get autonomy, the people that get to go to their boss and negotiate their life. They don't get it right now. They can't get it right now. Because sometimes they ain't got the money right now. Sometimes they got to do what? Be patient and save up some cash. See, that's where that credit thing, that's the addiction. That is the addiction. That's why the creditors in American Distress in your master, called MasterCard, gets you every month. Because they know you want it now. And they know you have that addiction for give it to me now. I want it right now. I ain't trying to wait. I'm not trying to save up cash. What you mean save up cash? We got credit. Why would I save up cash when we got credit? I could just take on a loan, get it right now. But that's the cycle. You get in that cycle of always needing it right now. Can't fill your time, can't fill that void of time with anything else. But having that thing or that material or doing this or having this right now, you're going to live in bondage your whole life. The borrower is literally slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:7 says that. But the Bible also says what? You know, I think it says, this ain't word for word. A good person stores up choice food and oil. But you know, the idiot squanders all they have. And they got to do what? Buy stuff on credit. Get things on loans. They can't save up for anything. They can't put nothing up in the storehouse. Choice food and oil, they can't put that up because they keep devouring it. The stupid person is devouring everything they have. They put it up, they devour it, devour it, devour it, devour it. They keep devouring this shit, and then they wonder why they living in debt. They wonder why they ain't got no options. They wonder why they a slave. They wonder why they're slave to the credit cards. They wonder why they're slave to the mortgage company because you didn't have the desire you didn't have the patience to save up enough money. You didn't have the patience to save up over 5-6 years to get a real nice down payment put it up in the storehouse, and then just go drop it down on that down payment, and then you do what you want to do. It give you that flexibility. Now your payment ain't so high, or you didn't go and buy the really, really expensive house. You just went and bought something that could do for now. You get me there. It'll get me there. See, people that get wealthy, people that have choice and autonomy and the ability to negotiate areas of their life, what do? They're patient. They're diligent in that effort of putting choice food and oil up into the storehouse. They're not devouring everything they have. That's a bad behavior. And look, y'all, I'm not talking at you. I'm not talking down to you. I've got the certificate in stupidity when it comes to finances. When it comes to personal finances and managing my money, oh man, I got the certificate in idiotic behavior. You get what I'm saying? But I had to learn. And once I started to learn, like, hold on, Isaac, just be patient. Hold on, Isaac, just put some choice food and oil up real quick. Just hold on, Isaac, quit doing business with quit doing business with them entities. Quit doing business with creditors. Quit doing business with the car loans. All these different motor companies, Honda Motor, Toyota Motor. Quit doing business with them entities. Quit going into debt for things, man, because it puts you in a position where you gotta go to work now. I'm not trying to be some real mega rich person. I'm gonna get wealthy organically off my behavior. What I want, what I desire most, I want choice, man. I want the ability to really tailor design this life. I don't want my job tailor designing this thing for me. I don't want credit companies and loan companies tailoring my life. Oh, you're not gonna design my life. So I'm gonna get gone. I'm gonna get off the beaten path and I'm gonna walk over here where it's a little rocky, where it's a little dirtier, where it ain't as shiny. But it get me there. It'll get me there. See, you might have took the paved walk around. You might have taken that paved road around. But I'm gonna walk the less traveled road, where it is a little bit more rocky. I do gotta take it a little bit more slow. It ain't as smooth. It ain't as smooth. It might do rain sometimes. You know what I mean? It might not be as comfortable, but it'll get me there. See, people who could take that patience, wrap it up into their life, they develop a good life. You be like, well, why does she get to do that? Why does she get to have such a nice life? Why does her life seem so comfortable? Why does she always seem at ease? Why she always seem at ease, man? She ain't got no debt. She ain't got no obligations. He ain't got a bunch of bondage. He's not ball and chain. The borrower is slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:7 says that. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Look, y'all, you can win. But like I always say, you gotta damn sure want to win. It's your choice. This ain't no mystical, magical, get in the vibe, get in the, manifest it. Nah, this take hard work, man. I didn't get to the point where I could talk about all this with so much conviction. It took me a decade. It took me a decade to break free from that drug, that vice of credit. It took me a decade. It took me a decade, y'all, to cut them credit cards up. I just couldn't do without it. It was just something I couldn't do without. It was like my comfort. But I need something else to be a comfort. I need God to be a comfort. Have some faith. Develop faith and you will win. Develop faith that, hey, if I can start to get out this cycle of using this vice of credit and in this instant gratification, and I could just be patient and start putting choice food and oil up in the storehouse, man, I think I could break free from it. I think I could kick this. I think I could break free from this real quick. but I gotta get away from it. I gotta get away from it. I gotta get away from it. I gotta go into the credit. I gotta go into the wallet and cut the credit cards up today. I gotta cut it up. I gotta get rid of them. I gotta shred them. I gotta get. If I don't, man, I'm gonna keep coming back to it. You get what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be a fucking, excuse my language, I'm gonna be a slave, y'all. I'm gonna be a slave to the lender my entire life, and I don't want that. That ain't what I want. You can have it all. I don't want to owe nobody nothing. You can have it all. I'll sleep out here in the bushes. I just don't want to have to owe nobody nothing at the beginning or the end of the month. I don't want to have to owe nobody nothing. I'm not going into debt for things, y'all. I choose not to go into debt. And am I just, no, I'm still susceptible to all these different pitfalls, all the financial crevasses, the debt crevasses of this world. I'm susceptible to all of them. So what I got to do? I got to tread lightly sometimes when I'm in my feelings, when I'm in my emotions, when I'm just going through a bad time in life. Might have lost somebody. Job ain't working out. People pissing me off. What I got to do? I'm at the glacial portion of the mountain, and I gotta tread lightly so I don't fall into one of these debt crevasses, one of these slavery crevasses, one of these. I can't fall into these crevasses, so I gotta tread lightly, and I need other people around me that's gonna say, nah, don't use it. Don't even think about going to credit. You already cut them off. Don't even put it in your mind that going into debt to pay for this thing is even an option. Let's just be patient. Let's just be patient. You're not gonna find too many people off the bat though that's gonna be with you on that. A lot of people they love the idea of just being able to get it now. They like that. They like bondage. That some people get off on that. You know, some people get off on going into debt. I could get it now. I could have it now. I like being a slave. Some people like that bondage, that weird bondage stuff. I myself, it's weird to me. It might not be weird to other people. And hey, to each his own. But for me, I like to have a lot of choice in this life. I love designing this life the way God intended for me to. God didn't intend for me to be ball and chain. God ain't intend for me to be ball and chain to some bank because I could get it now. Nah, God intended for me to be a patient, still person. Still with faith that if I could just stay steady on this path and I keep in my mind that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, I'll probably get there. And I may get to a point where I'm so strong in what I'm doing. The environment, my financial environment now reflects my ultimate desire of living that debt-free life, of being free, autonomy, choice, the ability to negotiate my life. My financial life now reflects that. So when I need something, or I'll have a desire to have something, or I want to do something, or I want to just be generous or whatever, I don't have to be like on some, where do I get the credit to go buy this car? Where do I get no, like I could go buy a car right now. I just go pay cash for it. You feel what I'm saying? Like not talking about the one at the beater. I'm talking about the one that I want. You get what I'm saying? I could go get that right now. I just go get it. But what do? Then you develop that hierarchy of needs. Is it really there? We could get it. We could have it right now. But would you like to have the house and pay the house off and have the house cash and not have to have no payments on the house? Yeah, I might want that. All right, so let's be a little bit more patient. Go buy yourself something nice for the day. Get over that credit hook fix. I need it right now. Sometimes you get that itch that come on you. I need that credit. Let me just go get that thing on credit. Let me just go swipe a credit card. Let me just go sign up for the bondage. Let me just go get a master real quick. Let me put an entity above me that's going to act as my master so they could tell me what to do. Nah. Let's not do that. Just go buy yourself something nice for the day. Keep putting good stuff up in the storehouse. Choice food and oil up in the storehouse. And let's just, you know what I mean? Let's just keep rolling. I get it. Let's move on. Let's move on. Look, y'all, you can win. I'm about to be out of here. Just 30 minutes of talking. You can win. But like I always say, you got to damn sure want to win, y'all. And I think so many of y'all could win. I think so many of y'all are already on that path of winning. I think some of y'all are y'all don't even understand how far down the path you have gotten. You get what I'm saying? But sometimes you got to block out, like they put on the horse, the blockers, just put the blockers on, man. I don't need the credit. I don't need the car payment. I don't need to be a slave to the lender. You could do this. If you're listening, you could do this. You got the strength in you. You could kick it. You can kick that habit of instant gratification and getting it on payments right now. You could kick the habit of enjoying being a slave to the lender. You could kick it. But you gotta want to. You gotta want to. You gotta be diligent. You gotta fill that time with something else. Can't be so consumer driven. You have to be what you trying to do and where you trying to go driven. I'm susceptible to all the financial crevasses of them all. I gotta tread lightly when I'm in some of these positions in life. I need to tread lightly. You might need to go put some new windshield wipers on the car for the day, just to spruce it up and make it feel a little bit better. Because we on a path, man. We already free. We already way down the path of choice and autonomy and the ability to negotiate areas of your life. Let's just not go backwards into debt. Let's not go backwards into slavery. And let's figure out where we're trying to go. We're going to have nice things. We're not just going to have time. We're not just going to have like, hey, I could take time off. I ain't got to go to work. I could go travel the world. I could spend a lot of time with my family. I could take my daughter and my kids to school every day. You get what I'm saying? I got a lot of time. Like, you're going to have more than that. But that is like the first milestone. Break free from debt. Get to a point where you got a lot of choice food and oil stored up. Now we good. Now we sustainable. We're self-sustainable like an engine. Like a turbine engine, at some point it becomes self-sustaining. It can sustain itself. It don't need the pumps and the fuel. It don't need the pumps and all the extra electronics to pump that engine. It needed it in the beginning, but then it got to a point where it was over 90%, and hey, it was like, hey, now we're good. We're self-sustaining. This engine can turn on its own. And that point, you get to a point where you assess your position. Okay, we're self-sustaining now. We don't just want to burn up all of our resources, but we are self-sustaining. We don't need the job. We can do the job, and we can really enjoy the job and pick the job that really pulls and tugs at our heartstrings. You get what I'm saying? We could do the one we want, that job, the opportunity we want, whether it pay more or less, we could get it. We could have it. We're self-sustaining. We don't need the job, but we just want to do the job because it's something we actually enjoy doing. We don't gotta go to work because we gotta pay these bills. You get what I'm saying? But once you become self-sustaining, you then have to continue down that path of what? Trying to see where we're going. Now we need a paid off house. Now we broke free from a life of credit cards, and student loans, car payments. Them things, that was the things that were biting at our ankles. That wasn't doing nothing good for us. We broke free from that. We're self-sustaining. Now what we want? We want a house that's paid for, because once we get the house that's paid for, then that frees up, then that enhances our what? That sustainability. You get what I'm saying? Because now, say no debt, choice food and oil stored up. Now we're working towards, over the next decade, you know, the last decade was the choice food and oil stored up. The next decade is, you know, Structure, home. Where we going to buy the home? How much we going to pay cash for? You get what I'm saying? We're not going to do the mortgage, or we are going to do the mortgage. How fast we going to pay it off type stuff. You know what I mean? If we get to that point, then it's like, all right, now we have, say over that next decade, now we have the house that's paid off, then what? Now we got a lot of options, y'all. No debt, choice food and oil stored up, continually on a monthly basis to store the choice food and oil up. And now we striving towards a paid off home. Now we have a paid off home, then what? Man, you just start really doing what God says, hey, I really want to see if you can do this. Try this. Give this a chance. I know it might not pay as much, or I might pay more, or you might have to go to a different location. Try this for me. Then life get fun, y'all. Life get real fun when you break free from bondage, when you break free from a life of debt, when you break free from a life of slavery. Proverbs 22:7 says what? The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Look, y'all, I'm out of here. Once again, you can win. But like I always say, you gotta damn sure want to win. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one, y'all. Peace.